So now it's time to put it into action and start some new beginnings. And now I'd like to hand it over to a good friend of mine and our keynote speaker, KFC. And it's not Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Thanks, guys. The theme of this conference this weekend is New Beginnings. And I want to talk about 3 new beginnings, 2 that apply directly to you guys this weekend at this conference, and 1 that's more of a personal experience that I want to share that will hopefully let you know what the long-term MVHS journey looks like. So the first new beginning is being a best delegate. And when I say best delegate, I don't necessarily mean the person who always wins the gavel. That's not necessarily who the best delegate is. Rather, the best delegate is someone who you respect in committee. They're the true leaders, the people who you want to work with after committee's over. They're the people who made a difference, who helped you, who looked after their own interests, but at the same time also looked after your interests. Those, I believe, are the true best delegates. And so, here in Southern California, we're very competitive. We have points, we have awards, and that's part of MVHS. But note that the real best delegates are those who don't always just go for more points, but rather just something more important, which is they push debate forward. And when they say push debate forward, there are different phases to do this. The first phase is when we're at home doing your research. It's not good enough to just know what your country policy is, but to know what your solutions are to the problem. When you make your speech, it's not enough to just come up there and make a speech, but rather say one thing. What's the one thing that's really important to your country? What's the one thing that you want people to remember about you when you get off the stage? It's not enough to just walk around during a moderated caucus and find people to work with, but rather, what are the common solutions, the common problems that everyone wants to solve within this caucus group? In terms of writing resolutions, it's not enough to just have an operative clause, but rather, what are all the specifics that will make this solution better? What's the who, what, when, where, why, how funded aspects of all these solutions? And finally, it's not enough to just write a resolution and try to pass it and debate it. The goal of MUN actually is not to debate resolutions. In all academic competitions, in sports, you win by beating the other team. That's the same case in debate, mock trial, all these other academic competitions. MVHS is not like that. MVHS, you win by taking someone to your team and working with them. And so that's the difference. And so, for those who are doing delegates today on both sides of the room, I want to ask you, think about the new beginning. Is today going to be a new beginning for you in becoming a best delegate? For the chairs of the Mission Day AO staff, I've actually had the opportunity to work with them the past several weeks on different chair training workshops. And we talked about a new beginning in terms of what makes a good chair. I remember the first training session that we had, we ranted for 30 minutes about all the bad things chairs have ever done. Not calling them, not paying attention to committee, not giving awards fairly, etc. The list goes on and on. We talked about that. We said, let's be real. Right? Being a chair is not about the chair. It's about providing quality customer service to the delegates. And that means having good knowledge of both the topic and the rules of procedure, and also being formal and professional, fair, friendly, and encouraging in terms of the chairing style. And so we told all the chairs, what are you going to commit to this weekend? And they all said they were going to be committed to providing the best customer service that they can. And so for all the chairs, that's their new beginning. And finally, one last beginning that I want to share is what is important in MVHS. So, if you were like me when I was in high school, you probably cared about 2 things. 1, winning an award, and 2, getting the phone number of the girl in the back of the room. So, I want to talk about the do definitely care about winning awards, and I took a lot of pride in them. I'll give you 3 examples. One example was, and I'll admit this right now in public, I actually kept a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet of all the awards I ever won, in every committee, which country I represented. I kept a binder, not a woman, a binder full of award certificates that I had won, laminated. And at my parents' house, all the gavels that I had won would be displayed publicly in my parents' house so that I could take a look at them. So that was me back in high school over a decade ago. Last winter break, I went home to my parents' house and I wondered to myself, where did all that awards go? I was curious. And so I rummaged through my old boxes. I found my binder that had all the laminated awards at the bottom of the old box, all my high school stuff. I couldn't find all my gavels. One of them was in a cabinet, one of them was in an old backpack. I couldn't find actually my first gavel ever. The first one I ever won was from this conference in Michigan, but I couldn't find it, so I don't know where that one is. But really, I didn't know where all my awards went. And I thought to myself, so what is still showing up in my parents' house? And I looked through it, and I realized there are only 2 remnants from my Mulligan experience that are still here. One is an award that I won called the Kofi Annan Award that was given out by a conference back in Southern California. That was given out to the best Secretary General of all Southern California that year. And that was displayed in my house because it signified that Mulligan wasn't about me. It wasn't about my gavels or my awards, but rather my ability as Secretary General to lead a team to be better, to train others, to help others, to improve others as delegates. So that was one thing that's hung up on the wall. And the second thing that still existed was a picture of me speaking at the United Nations, where I introduced Secretary General Ban Ki-moon that year. And that was for a conference that I staffed for inner city youth in New York City. It was a free conference that we put on at the UN for 2,400 people. And I think that was my proudest moment in my Mulligan career. It was not about me winning, but giving back my experience to people who otherwise did not have the opportunity. So Mulligan helped me grow as a leader, helped me make new friends around the world, and encouraged me to change the world. Now I realize awards aren't that important. And when I reflect back, it's really about the friendships I made, how it helped me grow as a leader, and really how it's changed my career path. As all of you might know, I'm the co-founder of the Mulligan website, Delegate.com. And I co-founded that with Brian William, alumnus in Michigan, after we quit our jobs to do Mulligan full time. And we left our jobs to pursue a passion for 2 reasons. One is, we have all this knowledge from Mulligan, and we realized it would be such a waste if we just let it all go down the drain after graduation. So we decided to share it on our blog. And it's only been 3 years since we started it, but our website now has over 260,000 readers from 190 countries and territories. And we've taught over 1,000 students around the world. We thought about, what do we wish we had when we were in high school? I look back, I did marching band, it was band camp. My friends did journalism camp, like yearbook camp. Some people did debate camp, some people did cheer camp. Like, why is there a Mulligan camp? Right? And so we thought about that, and we decided, let's start a Mulligan camp. And so we did. We started camps on the West Coast and the East Coast last year. We had students from, actually a lot of students from schools here, attended from Mission, Santa Margarita, Tustin, Peninsula, Dubuque Hills, Bard, AAC. A lot of students from here attended. And I can now say that Delegate is the leading global provider of Mulligan summer programs. And you guys are the first to hear, again, that this year we'll be having summer programs at Georgetown, UC Berkeley, UCLA, and UC Irvine. So that's just my new beginning now, my new journey, my way of making a difference in the world. So whether you're a delegate today, or a chair, or a teacher, or a parent, most of you want to change the world in some way. The important part is, thinking to yourself first, am I going to use this opportunity today to make a new beginning and to change the world? Good luck, have fun.